Hi, I'm Giselle from Kids Yoga Stories, author of 5 yoga-inspired children's books for children ages 3 to 8. And today I want to share with you about Sophia's Jungle Adventure and talk to you a little bit about the story behind the story, so it gave you more meaning and understanding to where the story came from. So I wrote this story 8 years ago after taking yoga teacher training, and what I wanted to do was bring together my travel experiences as well as having children move with story. So this story was based on my own trip to Costa Rica in 1996, would you believe? And I just recently found my whole photo album, and here we are. Pretty cool. So there's heaps of photos in there, but here we are, my sister-in-law and I, off to the airport on our way to Costa Rica. Now when we got there, we traveled around, we got to San Jose, went through the west coast, and ended up in the north near La Fortuna. And this is the guidebook, which we loved. Highly recommend the Moon Guidebook. There was Lonely Planet at that time, which we had as well, but we did love the Moon Handbook. Here's a picture of in La Fortuna. We decided one day to take a hike to some local waterfalls. And we had met a couple people along our journey, some other backpackers, and I remember stopping at this little tienda to have some water. It was a really hot day. And there was this particular moment that was super magical for me that I remember thinking when I had left Canada, I really wanted to see a toucan. And in this one particular moment, walking down the pathway, and I was having that moment of, like, I love my life kind of feelings, you know those. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, came this toucan, and I was just so stunned, so shocked at the beauty. It was just amazing. I remember it like it was yesterday. Now, I didn't get a picture, mind you, because it happened so fast, but I did get a postcard, which was pretty cool. And then when we got to the end of the hike, I think it was probably maybe 2 or 3 hours in and then 2 or 3 hours out. And here's the waterfall at the end. And it was such a hot day. We jumped in the water, which was super fun. And we had a blast. It was super cool. And then on the way back, I remember hiking out from the waterfall. And here's a picture of me looking out over the forest. And, you know, the animals were super cool. Everything's cool, right, when you're young and seeing new experiences. So that was our day in just near Volcano Arenal, which was super cool. I want to share with you, too, a little bit more about this story. So here we are. Here's a picture of the toucan. So we're doing a certain pose for the toucan. And then there's an environmental theme throughout the book. So there's an opportunity to talk about the impact of people who, the wood choppers chopping down trees. Here's the bench that we stopped at here at the little store to get some water. Here is the waterfall as well. Here's the waterfall. She's doing waterfall pose or setting for a bend. I want to point out too, at the end of the book, there's a list of all the poses, which is really handy. I know some kids yoga teachers have, or parents have copied these pages to have as a reference as they're going through the poses. And then at the end, there's also a guide. So if you're a grandparent, you're doing it with your little one, or you're a kids yoga teacher and you have a class, or your parents or your aunt, uncle, whatever, there's some tips and ideas there. As well as on the website, kidsyogastories.com, there's a link to some extension ideas, things to do before and after. I'm all about making it meaningful and fun for the children. So there's lots of different ideas you can learn about Costa Rica, learn about the animals. Super fun stuff. And on the free resources page, there's a free word search, which I used to love as a teacher. My students love word searches. So there's a free word search there, and a coloring page if you haven't had the opportunity to pick up the coloring book as well. This one's another great way to extend the story to color with it afterwards. Here's a page where my daughter and I, she's not yet 2, we were coloring the other day, which is super fun. And then if you're a Spanish speaker, or if you're teaching your children Spanish, another great way to bring together language learning and movement, there's a Spanish version of the book as well. So I just want to say thank you to the illustrator, Emily Jetzik. She's just been a phenomenal person to work with through this process, and she's the one who's brought the book alive. So I want to send a special thanks and shout out to her. And if you have any questions or if you'd like to share your story about Costa Rica, then feel free to email me, Giselle@kidsyogastories.com. All my stories are based on travel experiences, so I'd love to connect with you about that. Thanks so much for listening. Hopefully that was helpful. Enjoy.